The House That Disappears Every Night. Chapter 1. The First Glimpse. Ethan Carter had always been drawn to mysteries, but nothing in his life had prepared him for what he saw on his nightly walks. At the edge of town, past the overgrown fields and the rusted fence that no one seemed to care about, stood a house, or at least it did during the day. The first time he noticed it was on a Tuesday. A Victorian-style home, pristine and untouched by time, sat alone on a small hill. He swore it hadn't been there before, but the townsfolk dismissed his claims. "Old Thompson Place," an elderly grocer told him. "Been there forever." But when Ethan returned that night, the house was gone. The hill was empty, as if the home had never existed. Chapter 2. The Midnight Truth. Determined to prove he wasn't imagining things, Ethan set up a camera. He filmed the house during the day, capturing every detail: the white shutters, the red door, the lantern flickering on the porch. But when he reviewed the footage the next morning, he found a chilling discovery. At exactly midnight, the house simply vanished. No explosion, no collapse. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. Heart pounding, he asked around. Nobody seemed to care. Nobody except for an old man named Walter. "You saw it, didn't you?" Walter whispered. "That house has been vanishing for 100 years. You should stay away." Chapter 3. The Letter in the Wind. Ethan returned to the site at dusk. The house stood as usual, casting long shadows under the setting sun. He hesitated before stepping onto the creaky porch. A gust of wind slammed a loose shutter, and something fluttered from under the door. A letter. He picked it up with shaking hands. The envelope was yellowed with age, addressed to "The One Who Sees." Inside was a single note, handwritten in elegant script. "If you find me, do not enter. Midnight is near." Ethan's breath caught in his throat. He checked his watch. 11:45 p.m. Chapter 4. The Disappearance. Ignoring the warning, Ethan stepped inside. The air inside the house was cold and stale. Dust covered every surface, yet the furniture looked untouched. A fireplace crackled with no visible source of wood. He climbed the stairs. The second floor held only closed doors, each locked tight. As he reached for the nearest doorknob, a distant grandfather clock began to chime. Midnight. The floor beneath him trembled. The walls flickered, as if turning to mist. Ethan turned to run, but his feet wouldn't move. The house was dissolving around him. A whisper filled the air. "You shouldn't have come." Chapter 5. Trapped Between Worlds. Ethan woke up to silence. The house was still there, but something was wrong. The town, the streets, gone. Outside the window, nothing but swirling fog stretched in every direction. The hilltop no longer overlooked the town. He was somewhere else entirely. He rushed to the front door and yanked it open. Darkness loomed beyond, endless and suffocating. Then the letter reappeared in his hand. The ink had changed. It now read, "Welcome home.